A very good evening to all of you. Now in this session we would understand UPSC Prelims. I have been trying for a lot of times but still I am unable to qualify the prelims. My mains preparation is very strong. Now this is a common question that comes from numerous students appearing for UPSC. This time again we face numerous queries for what would be the right strategy to qualify the prelims examination. What material should I use? What should be the right reference that I should go for? So we'll be focusing on the mistakes that you need to avoid for paper 2 for the CSAT paper 2 in particular, and overall UPSC prelims, what should be the right approach. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, please drop in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to take those. Now, the first thing we begin with is NCERTs. Now, this is one of the common recommendations that I definitely tell you, and many others who have been, whom you have been consulting would suggest you the same thing. NCERTs. Now, NCERTs no doubt are the foundation. But once you have a strong foundation, you have to build a building over it. That means you have to go in depth into numerous topics and understand those. So NCERTs would provide you a foundation stone, and based on that foundation you will have to build the whole concepts, and that's where we say on top of each NCERT focus on one book per subject, and that's one of the basic strategies we recommend to all of the students. Now, what we have been seeing, I was recently analyzing papers of UPSC from 2014 till 2021, and what we have been 22 recent one as well. So what we have found over the years, I'll first focus on CSAT paper 2, that means. So paper 2 in 2014-15, the questions were very direct. For example, they were so direct that you would wonder even that those were the questions of UPSC if you compare those to the recent questions. Why? Because there was a direct graph which was given, and based on the bar chart or the line graph, there were 5 questions. Very simple way where you could answer those. Similarly, the passage questions, the comprehension questions were relatively direct. The answer was directly inside the passage or could be easily extracted from the passage, right? So those were the kind of paper patterns that we had witnessed during 2014-15. Since 2016, the difficulty level for the passage questions started to increase, and the same was witnessed till 2018-19. The passage questions got relatively difficult. However, since last 2 years, 2021 and 2022, we have witnessed that the questions on mathematics and quantitative aptitude have changed drastically. However, if we talk about the syllabus is indeed the NCERT syllabus class 10th level. Why do I say so? NCERT syllabus class 10th level, the simple reason lying behind it is, let's say there was a question in the recent 2022 exam, and this talked about a 6-digit number. None of the digits were given, and the question followed, if we talk about the basic concepts, this question followed the basic idea of rules of divisibility, which is indeed part of your NCERT up to 10th, right? But this question said if you remove one digit, you would be able to divide the number by 5. You remove 2 digits, you would be able to divide the remaining with 6. You do for 3 digits, you would be able to divide it by 3, and so on and so forth. So the idea here is the basis is that divisibility rule, but the difficulty level of the questions are increasing. Now definitely when we say CSAT is a qualifying paper, right? We need to qualify this paper. So if there are lakhs of students appearing, then the qualifying paper won't be that easy. It is meant to select few who would be able to qualify the CSAT. Probably that is the basic standard that has to be set. Now this difficulty level for the CSAT in the last 2 years we have seen has changed significantly. So those who had a very strong grip even with the GS paper 1 have found difficulty with CSAT, right? The questions this time that you need to focus on were predominantly based on number theory, remainder theorem, questions related to probability, permutation combination. So those were some of the basic areas which were touched for the CSAT paper, right? So the approach has to be very targeted. Start with the basic questions and then as you proceed you can move with the difficult ones. So if you go on to the study material, like you can refer any of the study materials that you have. Definitely students have been asking about the Examrace series. So here we have the Examrace postal material. Now even if you are not comfortable with the postal material, online we do provide the mains and the prelims material. So under the prelims you can go to CSAT paper 2, and CSAT paper 2 you would find lectures, study material, questions, practice questions. Okay, so all these are extremely important for your practice. Now understand, when we are talking about CSAT, as I mentioned, practice is important. Now it's not just practice but the right practice. For example, numerous questions have been asked on assumptions, right? In the recent lecture just before the examination, we have covered how the assumption questions differ based on the assumption questions that are asked for other examinations. So UPSC, the assumption questions are not similar to the assumption questions which are asked in other examination. What is the key difference under UPSC? The main difference for the assumption question is that this assumes something reading from the passage, right? For other exams, now this is what I am speaking based on the official answer key and understanding the official answer key for 2021 CSAT examination. Based on that, we have found that specifically from the reading comprehension, the assumption questions are pretty different. Most of the other exams would focus on assumption question with a simple logic. What would be the logic? The logic is simply that what you need to think or what you need to assume before you read the passage. Okay, so before understanding the passage, what is the thought in mind is asked. However, UPSC asks the other way around. What is that? Read the passage, and if I want you to ask, what can I take from the passage? So that assumption here in UPSC implies that. So as an administrator, you would be given, let's say, a report. You are reading a report. Now based on that reading of the report, what are the assumptions that you can draw? That means you have to rely on to that report. However, I am repeating this very important concept again, that for other exams what happens is, for other exams when you have assumption questions, it implies that you must think something before reading that passage, and those things are intuitively part of the passage. That's what is considered. But in UPSC, you read the passage and what you can draw from the passage would be the assumption. Okay, so all the assumption questions for 2021 based on the official answer key had an implication from the passage. So understanding the passage and then saying that these could be the possible outcomes. So outcomes is what is the crux here. Clear? So that's one of the keys for reading comprehension. Coming on next, what is important for CSAT paper? For CSAT paper, one very important thing is how do you read the passage and where do you read good passages. So a good idea is, while you are reading the newspaper, editorials should be your best friend, because once you have the habit of reading great number of editorials, you would get an insight about what the author is trying to explain. Now once you have read 20, 30, 40 editorials, you would understand what author tries to bring to your attention, and that's where the questions like assumption, inference could be solved for UPSC. Again note, the paper actually is different each year to each year. For example, 2021, the language of the passage was relatively difficult, right? For 2022, the language of the passage was not that difficult. Relatively, the passages were more from the applied part. So, if you have been reading the everyday things around, you would get a clean insight into the passages which are there. Now, Sanjeev has an excellent question that numerous students bring to us, and that is, can I skip the maths portion? Obviously, no. The clear answer is no. No skipping would be entertained. I give you a simple reason. Total 80 questions that are asked. 40 questions from English, right? And around 40 questions from mathematics section. More or less the weightage is equal over the years that we have analyzed. Now, when you are having 40 questions from English, based on the UPSC official key, you cannot commit that 100% of your answers would be right. If you cannot commit 100% of your answers here would be right, then how would you commit that you can qualify CSAT if you are not doing the maths section? Okay, so there is no chance to skip. Even if someone is telling you, if you are from humanities background, social studies background, you skip maths. If you are not good at maths, skip maths. Please don't do it. Don't commit that mistake. If you are going with that mindset, I would rather suggest that don't prepare for mains even, because maths here is definitely essential. You need to secure a minimum level in maths, so that even with a good English background and your sound confidence that you would do good in English, you can actually land up with the qualification for the prelims. Now, even if you are not qualified for the prelims, even if you are doing excellent with your GS paper 1, that all effort goes in vain. Why? Because you are not able to run for your mains examination. So the logic here becomes very simple. And what's that simple logic? The simple logic is prepare good for maths, prepare good for English. Now when I say good, even if you have difficulty with certain topics, I would not recommend that you leave any of the topic. None of the topics should be left. What you can do is you can prepare introductory levels for certain topics that you find hard. And that too only for specific 2-3 topics, not more than that. But rather, since this is June and you are targeting for your next June, you have 1 year in hand. 1 year is an ample time. So with the 1 year in hand, you can practice the concepts of maths, even for those concepts that you are not confident with. I would again request not to be afraid of any subject if you are preparing for UPSC. Even if you are afraid of one of the subjects, you cannot score good for UPSC. Need to have a basic knowledge for all subjects. Okay, so you should be jack of all trades, if not master of all. That's the simple logic that you need to apply. And being interdisciplinary would help you actually score good for your mains as well. So Sanjeev, I think my message comes clear here. If you have any questions, please feel free to raise those in the comment section again. Another thing, for GS paper 1. Now, analyzing the concepts of GS paper 1 for 2022 examination, we have found that for 2016-17 till 2016-17, there were numerous direct questions which were part from Yojana and Kurukshetra, right? 2018-19-20, we found a lot of direct questions from down to earth. Analyzing for 2021, I would say down to earth indeed was a crucial topic that you have to cover. Science the Wire, another important reference that you must cover. For economics, Investopedia is a good reference that you must cover. Vikaspedia, no doubt, must not be left by any means. For history, the ancient history and Indian art and culture had a very strong focus. However, a little emphasis were given onto the world topics. But on the contrast, for geography this time, numerous topics dwell from world geography. So what should be a good idea? Whatever topic you hear in news, just practice that topic, do a little research onto that topic and understand that topic in totality, and that would give you a clear insight about the right track for preparation. Okay, so international affairs, international organizations, those were standard kind of questions based on rote learning. Every time you had these questions which are asked, so those are basic questions. Science, besides the contemporary, the other questions were relatively direct based on your basic knowledge, so you can cover those with even the fundamental concepts and fundamental knowledge. Now those were some of the questions and the issues that we have covered here. In case you have any doubt or any questions, let me know, and we would be happy to assist you with further understanding of the topics and the subtopics here. So this was for today, and in case if you have any queries, feel free to post those even in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to help you understand. And definitely a lot of students have been asking for mains answer writing. So mains, again, we have lots of preparation material which is available along with the answer writing sessions, so you can just go through the detailed list here and connect back if you have any questions or doubts. So wish you very good luck for your upcoming examination preparation, and in case you want to still have queries being resolved on one-on-one basis, definitely you can do so by connecting back to our WhatsApp number 9998008851, or simply drop an email to admin@examrace.com with your queries. There is another question from Dinesh Thakre. Recently, a maths portion directly asked calculation based, but now they ask conclusion based, how to tackle. Yes, Dinesh, so if you had joined from the very beginning of the session, that's what the message was, what we were trying to say. The pattern of the examination has drastically changed over the years. The level and the difficulty of maths portion has significantly increased, and for data sufficiency, it simply comes by practice. The more you practice, the more logic you are able to apply, and the better you are able to perform. So I definitely recommend practice questions which are available, would help you sail through. For logic and assumption reasoning, we have included numerous questions in our data bank, and that would be highly beneficial for your practice. So just go through the questions, practice as much as you can, and practice on a regular basis, specifically for those who feel that CSAT is one of the sections where they are actually facing problem with and they are not able to cope up. I would definitely recommend that CSAT, the best strategy is to understand the concepts in detail and focus the concepts with more understanding and more practice. So right now you have 1 year in hand, so start practicing at least 1 hour on a daily basis. Calculation based, conclusion based questions where you have to do less of calculations and more of mental maths is required. Most of the questions specifically which are pertaining to data sufficiency don't require direct calculations, as Mr. Dinesh has said, and therefore we need to focus on the basics and the understanding. There is another question. I am facing difficulty with writing English because I want to keep English medium. So Komit, if you are asking about mains preparation, definitely we'll schedule another sessions. But yes, if you are facing difficulty with writing English, but if you are able to, if you have graduated and post-graduated in English medium, then I would definitely recommend that you must keep your medium as English. Based on your optional, again, you should decide what medium works best for you. Specifically, those hailing from sciences background must keep their medium preferably with English, because that would help you write the technical terms more smoothly. Now, if you are facing difficulty with writing English, I would say actually there is no, I don't feel It's just an insight. It's a kind of intuition that I have, seeing what you have written in the comment box, that there are no grammatical mistakes per se. So when you are writing, definitely Komit, you are not having grammatical mistakes. So might be it's just a fear that you don't have confidence in English and you won't be able to write good English. If you were able to write more in the comment section, probably I'll be able to mentor you better. What is the exact challenge that you are facing with English while you are conversing or while you are writing? Most of the time it does happen in such a fashion that students actually are good at English, have English medium, but they are not confident with English, despite the fact that they don't commit grammatical errors. So if that's the case, just practice, write, and get a few of your answers evaluated for English, and then you would get a deeper insight what are the specific changes that you can make in a limited time to accelerate on the pace of improving the English. Because definitely while you are preparing for your mains, you don't have that much time for devoting to English as such. So your main focus is GS, your optionals, the overall content, the strategy. So definitely English becomes a sideline there. A lot of students also have a fear that if I don't have a good English, I'll face difficulty with my interview. English is, if you have a good English, definitely it is an additional point. But if you are conversing with the interview panel in English, but even if not, if your concepts are good, if your strategies are solid, then there is no issue that you would face a difficulty with even the interview. So that's what I was trying to focus here. I hope that I was able to convey my thoughts. Now this was the session for today. In the coming sessions, we would be focusing on mains answer writing. Since mains is approaching, definitely we would be doing few sample answers, so students can send their answers for evaluation, get them reviewed and get a feedback while we are live. So those who wish to join in can join us for the next live sessions every Saturday evening, every 15 days Saturday evening. So every fortnightly we would be conducting a live session. Definitely you can join back with the live session if you have questions. We would be resolving those there, and still not, I'll be more than happy to have those on my email or get a online one-on-one consultation with you. So wish you very good luck. Have a wonderful day ahead. Practice nicely. See you again. Thank you.